Classic tune on one of our big box guitars that Ben's built himself with his own two hands. We've also got, speaking of box guitars, this one. We'll be talking about this one right here, this special limited edition box guitar that's in my hands that you can build yourself, that we got coming up later. We also are going to be discussing some books and some song materials, and one of my favorite segments of all times, aside from Walk Corner, where we talk about the things that you've submitted and the stories that you've shared with us. We've got some sweet hand drums that we are offering now through Gitty Crafter Supply, and the drum maker himself that works in this same old historic mill in Rochester, New Hampshire, is coming down to talk to us and talk to you about why and what and how he's making what he makes and what we're offering. Now, as you all know, before you get too crazy, if you could just consider sharing this show publicly, this show from Cigar Box Nation Television, this Gitty Gang show publicly, because last week, this week, and next week, all of you who share this show publicly get entered in to win this Fun Guy Mojo guitar made by Chris McKinney himself. This 6-string cigar box guitar. A fine piece, is it not, Mr. Lanciano?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I've been drooling over those since they first came in.
Yeah, it is, man. So master builder Chris McKinney has got his Fun Guy Mojo guitar here for you to win. And you'll be entered to win that if you share the show publicly. So again, last week's entrance, this week's entrance, and next week's entrance will all be entranced to win that guitar.
Entranced?
Am I missing anything? No? Oh, yes. And we actually also may have a few possible sightings from our fearless leader.
What?
But before that...
Also, I want to mention that we are on YouTube as well. I know some of you, I mean, if you're already on Facebook, you're already watching it, but you know, we are simulcasting on YouTube as well right now. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, shout out to YouTube as well. What's up, bros? So, if you don't mind, please share the show publicly. And if you haven't already, if you're on Facebook and consuming us right now, please consider liking the Cigar Box Nation page, the premier internet magazine for education, entertainment, and inspiration in the world of handmade musical instruments. Please consider liking the CB Gitty Crafter Supply Facebook page, where we do the same. Education, inspiration, and motivation. But yet you can also see some of the things that we have back scenes when we start offering new products. Ben's constantly innovating and pushing this thing forward and bringing new products to the forefront almost on a weekly basis. So you can keep informed that way by liking the CB Gitty Crafter Supply Facebook page. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Cigar Box Nation and the CB Gitty Crafter Supply YouTube channels to get videos like this. But first, before the rest of the show gets underway, we have a little sighting from possibly our fearless leader that Nick has lined up right now.
No aggravation when the train has left the station. If you're there or not, I may not even know. Have a mountain.
Look who's here. Kim Starling.
Yo.
You know what that means. A beautiful voice is going to be joining us for this show. That's right. Now, before we get going though, I would like to mention something new as of today that Nick himself has put up on the CB Gitty web store front as an all-wood box.
It's really a nice box.
It is a nice box.
The colors, I'm not sure if they come through on the video.
Yeah,
Glenn's going to
blue
step
and
forward,
teal.
but it's really beautiful.
The Avo boxes, I know some of the members out there of Nation have seen these Avo Synchro boxes. They're glorious. Avo Uvasian,
Look at this.
jazz musician with his own cigar label.
But that yellow and teal is really pretty.
Yeah, man, check this out. Now, if you are wondering, so that you know, it is an all-wood box, and it does measure 9 1/4 inch by 6 3/4 inch, and it is 1 3/4 inch deep. Again, with these amazing F-holes. That's right, laser cut precisely into this all-wood box, making for a beautiful handmade musical instrument by you. Now, Kim didn't get up here to listen to me talk, I know that, but she has, however, come up here to grace us with a little tune that we like to call He's Got the Whole World in His Hands.
Right out of
Ben Baker's hymnal book, which we'll show you here in just a minute. So check this out.
Little hymnal demo.
That's right.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the moon and the stars in his hands. He's got the moon and the stars in his hands. He's got the moon and the stars in his hands. He's got the whole world 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 in his hands. Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
The end of that was different every single time.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. You gotta mix it up.
And
Keep each other on their
every single time
toes.
it has been such a treat. Oh, you know it is.
He
To have you
lies.
sing with us.
We laughed during the moon verse because I kept singing the moon and the rain, and the moon and the rain don't go together really well. So
Depends on where you are.
I said stars. Depends on where you are. So
This is a fantastic book. This is what that song came from. This latest release from Ben, the Cigar Box Guitar Hymnal Book, Volume 1, for 3-string open GDG tunings. Some
And
slick stuff.
There's only a handful of the spiral bound ones left.
That's
so
right.
if you want a spiral bound, I think there's only 4 left when I checked this morning.
the really, I would not call them sexy since it's a hymnal, but the really beautiful Amazon printed ones have arrived here at Gitty, and they're gorgeous.
I don't think that's a biblical
Yes,
word.
it
So.
But this is part of what makes this so special is that it's not just a book that was tossed together and then printed out on some pages carelessly so that Ben could, slock stuff out to the community. This has got a beautiful setup. It's obviously got the table of contents, and then he goes into, it's not just a bunch of tablature that's all placed in there willy-nilly. He actually goes into not just about this songbook, but how to read and play tablature. Goes over some chord charts and whatnot in order to best learn how to play the, how many songs are in here? A lot?
A lot.
I can't remember.
I can't
Is it
remember either.
51?
I think it's about
53?
51.
Yeah.
57 hymns and
Oh,
spirituals
57.
arranged for 3-string cigar box guitars. The
Surprise,
reason,
6 more
Well, and
songs.
as I was going through it, there were a lot of explanations of where the origins of each hymn came from. Is well done.
Yeah, a lot of those, it's really cool to see where a lot of them came from, you know, which other hymns they take the music from.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the old American hymns use a lot of British and French and all that
absolutely.
themes or songs to go with them too.
And knowing Ben the way that he is, like, he's got a great knack for providing context and history. He's one heck of a writer. Now, that's part of the reason that we're bringing this up is not just the fact that Ben wrote and has released himself, by the way, this cigar box guitar hymnal for open GDG tunings, 3-string cigar box guitars, but that we have a whole library of books here at CB Gitty Crafter Supply. And these books that actually got a lot of us, myself included, into the art of building and playing cigar box guitars. This was one of the first. The Handmade Music Factory, I know you can't see it from here, but the Handmade Music Factory, written by Mike Orr, who I had the pleasure of meeting at one of the Cigar Box Guitar Festivals down in York, Pennsylvania, not that long ago, a couple years ago. And I know that he still goes down there. That we have also a longtime fan of the Cigar Box Guitars, another classic Cigar Box Guitar book by David Sutton, a wonderful man and photographer out of Chicago. Of course, Charles Atchinson's The Folk Art Instrument Builder's Reference. Again, all of these books are written by one person, and then most of them self-published in such a fashion that it is, I think, indicative of the larger culture at hand, which is what we do, which is to say DIY, do it yourself, make it yourself, build it yourself, and share in the community. But most importantly is that to add to all that, Ben has, again, single-handedly, he's not doing this with any sort of help, really. He's going home,
amazing?
and his
Really?
downtime, he is,
Which is why he's on vacation right now.
exactly. Exactly, which is why he's taking a well-deserved vacation.
Yeah.
He's writing all of these books themselves. They're not, again, schlocked together. These are like this one here, Build Your Own Canjo, goes through step by step how to build your own canjo with stories, tablature, some history, and whatnot in order to learn how to build and play your own canjo. And he goes on, he goes even further. I mean, he's got the first songbook. I remember when this one came out, I was so psyched because I was like, we were about to do a mini maker fair in Dover, New Hampshire, us here at CB Gitty, and we got to use these or some material from this to show kids how to play the canjos they built that day. Got more, another canjo songbook with like another 50 or 60 tunes in this one. Again, done in tablature, easy number, like the number 1 is the first fret, number 2 is the second fret, easy stuff on a 1-string instrument. This beautiful, another hymnal, but this one for canjo, and I can't remember, I think this one's close to 60 songs again. And again, all sorts of history, storytelling, well written, super good context so that you have an idea. It's not just here's some information, but here's the story around the information so that you get a better idea of what you're getting yourself into.
Christmas.
Christmas! Who doesn't like a few Christmas tunes on a canjo? Another Ben Gitty publication. And this is one of my personal favorites, the Hobo Fiddle. Now, if you have it, we're all on the internet a lot. You're on the internet right now. But I know that the majority of you have something in your home somewhere that every once in a while you like to pick up and you read because it's entertaining. It reminds you of something special from your childhood. It gives you some sort of inspiration to get through your day, to do something, you get a smile on your face, say hello to your neighbor, that kind of thing. This book right here is one of those books for me, in that Ben has gone through, unpacked the history of hobos that have, and still do on some level, but have lived here in the United States, and how they made their living, how they got around, how they survived, and how they still created art and music in order to stay entertained, to connect with their community, and to pass on tradition to the next generation. This is an outstanding read. I highly recommend it.
He really poured a lot of himself into that.
He really did.
He really did.
This is not just like
this
is not just an instructional. This is a well-written, concise, beautiful piece of work, and I hope that you go down and check this out when you get, not during the show, after the show. Go check it out. Just follow a link to it. You'll see it. Amazing stuff.
It's not just the book either. He really
and they can
takes
buy
pride
a
in
fiddle
those
to go with it.
Yeah. I mean, those are a great little instrument. And
yeah, they are.
how many times have he's almost like he's got one glued to his hand.
He likes
good.
to play that, even out.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that
Not
was
just here.
and that what you saw one of his hobo fiddles in that last video that Nick just played while Ben was on the train, or next to the train. And then lastly, I'll let you go with the book stuff, but this is his latest installment into his book series, and that is a cigar box guitar songbook, Volume 1 for 3-string cigar box guitars. Again, it's not just a bunch of tablature like I used to do, just throwing it online and hope somebody gets some use out of it. Like, this is a well put together. He's got chord charts, where to put your fingers, why you put your fingers there, how you put your fingers there. Chord charts here to show you different fingerings, several different fingerings for each chord, whether it be a D, a C, a C7, an A minor. He's got all the fingerings for him in here, and then he goes on through with tablature, which I know you can't see from here, but you can see like little squiggles. Tablature and lyrics for, in this case, a slew of songs. Again, many songs. Gosh, it's at least 50. I don't know.
I don't know how many are in
But
there.
multiple versions of many different songs.
Yeah. And in his downtime, this is what he's doing.
Oh.
So that's why he's on
Crank it out.
vacation.
Crank it right out.
That's right. So, what else we got going on here?
Well, speaking of Ben and the hobo fiddle,
Speaking of Ben and the Hobo Fiddle, I think Nick's got another sighting for you.
where is he now?
Whoa! Looky here! Welcome back, everyone.
Wait, who's that?
Yeah, right. Everybody, welcome back, Farley. It's good back to the Gitty Gang show.
It's good to be here.
That's
It's really good to be here.
It's
It's
awesome
been a
to have
while.
you.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have you here.
Thank you.
Notice a little,
Yeah.
got Farley times 3 in here. Got Farley here, Farley there,
Yeah.
Farley there. and some other guy.
Yep.
These actually happen to be on sale right now on CB Gitty Craft Supply. The Cigar Box
American
Guitar.
Gothic.
Gothic
this morning.
t-shirts.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
And the Gitty Gang shack and everything
Yeah. So
in it.
the woman who built these guitars is standing in front of the shack that she built, and she's wearing the T-shirt of a picture of her with the guitars that she built in front of a house
sitting
that
in the
she built.
shack that she built the second time.
Yeah.
And where
built this too, by the way.
Yeah. I'm so confused.
G-Shack Inception.
Yeah. So it's good to have you back.
It's so good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful day. It's so good to get the weather, get a break from the cold finally, and to be able to work outside in the sunshine. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
And it's nice to
Yeah.
have another smiling face around here, especially yours, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Nah.
It's so good to be here
You know
in the
it is.
new shack.
The new shack.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Farley has kindly joined us today for Watt Corner, so we're going to call it Farley Corner. The Corner with Farley.
Sure.
All right. So what we got here, Farley's going to help me actually go through some of these things. If you're not familiar, Watt Corner here is a segment where we share some of the pictures that you've shared with us. So you share your pictures with us and your stories, and then we turn around and share them with the world here on Facebook and YouTube, as it turns out.
Wow.
I know. And we call it Watt Corner. So there it is. First up, what Nick has for you, actually,
Yep.
is coming right up.
It's being
And
difficult.
it's all good. And so it got a slew, a handful of images, again, that you shared with us. The first is from a gentleman that I've just met recently. And his name is Peter. And Peter, as I'm speaking slowly,
I got it. I promise.
Peter,
I got
no,
it.
it's
All right.
coming up right now.
Right. Yep.
And it's a picture of
And it is
something
up.
that he built himself.
Why is this not working? Oh,
It's all good.
I got it.
Here it is.
Peter.
Ba-ba-da.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ba-ba-da. There it is. All right. So Peter wrote in to accompany this fantastic image. I thought you and your viewers, that's you, might like to see this stand, the stand of the picture. I've made several cigar box guitars with the help from CB Gitty. Thank you, Peter. And my daughter has quite a collection of ukuleles. My wife was starting to complain about all these instruments cluttering up the living room.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. It is a problem. So, Peter says he used some scrap wood to cobble together this little stand that you see pictured. Now, the boards are 1/2 inch thick and 36 inches long, and the dowel supporting the headstocks are 12 inches long and 5/8 inch in diameter. The pegs that separate the heads are made out of the same dowel and stand 4 inches apart. One of the nifty things that you may not be able to see that up close in the photo is that each of those pegs that support the headstock also support are like little slide holders.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is very nice.
It's attractive. It kind of keeps things together. It gets people all on the same page. Happy wife, happy life. So I'd say good on you, Peter.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to prop some of those guitars up
Yep.
depending on the tailpiece.
Yep.
So to have something you can actually put them on and keep them organized, I think it's genius.
Yeah.
That is great.
Good stuff, Peter.
Really
Thank you
nice.
for sharing that
Yeah.
with us. And if you have any pictures out there right now or any designs of your own stands, feel free to share them in the comments because we'd love to see them, by the way. Now, up next, Nick has for you a picture of somebody you may recognize. Now, in it with Ben Gitty Baker is Charles R. Now, Charles R. down in Texas, he's holding his double necked. It's a 3 and 4 string cigar box guitar that won him second place in the New Orleans, New Orleans, Louisiana cigar box guitar build-off. And what's really special about him holding up his award and his guitar, standing next to our fearless leader, Ben Gitty Baker, Charles also has used on that guitar 2 Wickedbucker pickups,
Nice.
hand wound by Marty Tauber up in Maine. Yeah,
Marty.
buddy. From Maniac. What is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. He's a maniac, all
Yeah,
right.
he is.
So Wickedbucker pickups that we offer, and I see more and more of you builders out there using those Wickedbucker pickups on your cigar box guitars because it turns out they're really good. They're slick, they sound good. You've got good feedback, haven't you, Nick?
Oh yeah, nothing but good feedback about those pickups.
Yeah.
In fact, the next build that I'm going to make is going to have Wickedbucker on it. So it's
Bada bing. Got that right there. You heard it.
Have you ever played one of those double neck guitars?
No,
Is
as it turns out, I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that would be really difficult. I'm super impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, that to be able to transition from 3-string to 4-string.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Hopefully there's like there's independent volume controls and pickup
Oh,
selectors.
really?
I'm hoping, just so that one gets turned off while the other one's played.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time wrapping my head around one string. I can't. This whole 3, then 4, then
Yeah.
people are crazy.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. Next, Nick has for you from Tom S. I love this because this, as you will find out, relates right to what Ben Gitty Baker has himself done. Inspired by Ben's book, here in this picture is, or inspired by Ben's book, Legend of the Hobo Fiddle, you see what is pictured here. Now, in the next picture that Nick has, Tom writes that he found this old photo researching some cigar box design ideas featuring the duo from Grateful Dead's Jack Straw. Not necessarily hobos, but a pair of escaped criminals riding the rails, determined to settle one old score. I love this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
And that sound hole design actually is reminiscent of how Ben has treated that hobo fiddle that he loves, that all wood one that he was playing in the past 2 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got this like fringe burn on it. It's really cool stuff. I don't know. I'm a big fan.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And then the last image from Tom S. that Nick has for you, you will see that, as Tom writes, he's added a touch of wood-burned hobo signs or glyphs to serve as fret markers. Now, keeping it on that image, what's so special about that, or what adds to how special that is because those images, in addition to that book that I held up earlier that Ben wrote about hobo fiddles, The Legend of the Hobo Fiddle, Tom S. burnt into his fretboard or his fingerboard these fret markers that he used from these glyphs, or these markers, these signs that Ben found,
cool.
and then put not only in the Legend of the Hobo Fiddle book, but put on these posters. And so Tom S. chose the ones that he wanted the most, and each glyph that was used by hobos, by trained travelers, to communicate as signs that, like on a signpost somewhere or on the side of a building or whatnot, they would use these as communication to say, for instance, this one was that there was a chain gang, or this one here is a well-guarded house, or this one here will care for sick. Like, so they had these had an entire language done up in glyphs that they used to communicate with one another. Ben included them not only in his Legend of a Hobo Fiddle book, but on these posters, and then Tom S. was inspired enough to put them as fret markers on his latest Hobo Fiddle, which I think is just darn rad.
Very cool. Very cool.
It is really
Love
cool.
It. Yeah.
And the thing is too, is that Farley, as you know, that you've built stuff out here in the shop that other people have themselves been personally affected by, found and been inspired by, and have turned built and then shared with us. Now I don't remember the most specifically offhand what those have been, but you know how it feels to be able to hear from somebody that, oh, you inspired me to do this thing.
Absolutely.
And you're like, yeah.
Absolutely. I love it when people share those things. It's so encouraging to me, and just how this whole, you're able to touch other people's lives through just something that you share and something that means something to you, and it's very inspiring.
It is really inspiring.
Yeah.
When the art that you create gets out into the world and it inspires other people to make more art, that's...
Yeah.
Boom!
It is. Very cool.
And our special drum-making friend is going to tell us a little bit about that too later. But first, and to finish up this Watt Corner with Farley, this Farley Corner with Watt, next, Nick has for you some friend of ours, Jason G, Jittery J from the Cigar Box Nation, but Jason G. And what he has here written for this particular image is, my son is away at school and has a cigar shop near his dorm in New Hampshire. Right where we live. Yep. Every time he comes home for a visit, he brings a bunch of cigar boxes and laundry with him. Now, we've had the great pleasure of meeting this young man, as it turns out. He actually came to the shop a couple months ago. He has a photography project at school, and he was taking photographs for the shop and just checking things out. So, really good kid, and knowing him through Jason is a really good thing. Now, Jason, on the next image, has written, now I usually like my CBGs to look like they came out of a garden shed with spare parts, rust, dust, and a plenty of twang. But when he brought this one, being the cigar box, when he brought this one, I felt I needed to give it a little polish. So as you can see here, not readily available in this picture, but he's got a Spectraply neck, brass F-hole sound covers, gold open gear tuners, and a brass, again, wicked bucker pickup that seems to pick up my thoughts rather than the strings, because even I sound good playing it.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you're awesome, Jason.
That's
Now,
very cool.
that last image that Jason shared with us, you can see that as he writes, the big box and brass accents complement the Spectraply neck and make it stand out, begging you to pick it up. Fun build, Jason writes. Now, I know this picture isn't the most clear representation of what it looks like to build with to use Spectraply to build anything but a neck. And I'm not saying that Jason's the first guy ever to do it, but he's the first that I've seen do it, and I gotta admit, they're just rad necks.
They really are. I've never built with it, but the way that it reveals the different layers of colors, you know, with the shapes that are carved out of it, I think is really cool, really fun, beautiful neck.
Yeah, dude.
Really nice.
Absolutely. I gotta say that before our last image here in the corner segment, I regret not having something in front of me to see what it is that you are saying. However, if you don't mind just taking this one moment as you're watching right now to just say, if everyone could, just this one moment, just say, type in, "Hi, Farley," and press enter so we can just get a wall. I'm going to wait here for 3 seconds, just get a wall of people typing in, "Hi, Farley," because it would be really nice to welcome back Farley for the show. Ah, hi, Farley. Now, last up, please do that, that'd be awesome. The last up, Nick has for you this last image that I want to share with you. It's from Tracy H.
Oh, I love this.
I love this image.
Yeah.
And he writes in, bear with me here. "Hi, Gitty, or hey, Gitty Gang. I am an art technology teacher in an alternative high school. I have been building cigar box guitars for a bunch of years and have worked with individual students in the past, but have never built with an entire class." I love this picture.
Yeah, it's so cool.
This past year, I connected with and found out about the great education outreach program discount that we offer through CB Crafter Supply. Taking advantage of the discount allowed us to build with our entire class. Here's a picture of the crew with their completed cigar box guitars. We used tuners, strings, piezo pickups, and quarter-inch jacks, all supplied by CB Gitty. Other materials came from our local home improvement or home supply store. We used a photo-to-wood transfer process that uses a laser print and acrylic gel medium to permanently bond an image to wood.
Wow.
I know. Now, I know a lot of y'all out there have already done something similar to this, and now Ben here has his own proprietary process to put images to wood, such as this special limited edition box truck graphic that you see here. But these images here are all done, created and done by the students. It's just a really special thing to see them, you know, and they're all smiling. I must say that these students are not inherently interested in art, writes Tracy H. As a matter of fact, on the first day of school, some said, and I quote, "I see no value in any form of art," end quote. Well, Tracy writes, "I think this experience has changed their minds. The students really enjoyed the process and love being able to play something that they actually made. One father told me that he even took his son's guitar into work to show it off."
That's so cool.
Love that.
That's very cool.
Thank you, CB Gitty, for all that you do for us. Peace, Mr. Tracy H.
That is inspiring.
That is inspiring.
That's so neat. The whole class.
I do. And I love seeing kids, you know, not just playing music and the smiles that they get, but using their hands in the classroom with science teachers, with math teachers, with technology teachers. You'd automatically go to music teachers. Well, why isn't a music teacher doing that? But a lot of science teachers and math teachers are doing this.
It crosses over.
It does cross over.
Yeah.
It's good project-based learning to keep a kid engaged and busy and learning the stuff on hand, but through a medium that speaks ideally to them. And now I did not necessarily speak to these kids at first. As they're building it, you know, they become invested in the project, and as they play it, they're like, "I built this thing myself."
Love it.
You could teach an entire branch of anything off of a cigar box guitar. Physics, electricity, woodworking, the properties of wood, tension, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can teach just on one cigar box guitar alone.
It's the absolute truth.
That's so cool.
Yep. And so now, if you know an educator, a teacher, or a Boy Scout troop leader, a librarian who wants to use handmade musical instruments as teaching tools, whether it be adults or kids or whomever, but in an educational type environment, send them our way. We have an education outreach program through which we offer a minimum of 25% off the entire what we have to facilitate and enable people to use musical instruments for teaching tools. And I think that's pretty awesome.
There's a lot of highs going out to you, Farley.
Yeah, hi! It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here, by the way. Now, if you have not already, would you please consider liking the Cigar Box Nation Facebook page? Would you please consider liking the CB Gitty Crafter Supply Facebook page? Would you please consider subscribing to the Cigar Box Nation YouTube channel? I'm giving her nothing to work on. I'm just pointing at her like, you know. Yeah. This is what I get. That's how I feel with Ben sometimes. Like, ah. And then, of course, please consider subscribing to the CB Gitty Crafter Supply YouTube channel. All right. Nice. Yay. Now, next, lined up, stick around for an outstanding performance using the big box dynamite guitar built by Ben Gitty Baker himself, but performed on by our own Nick Lanciano, a classic tune.
Lanciano.
Lanciano. Lanciano. I'm sorry, I was trying to be fun, and I was like, no, he's like, pipe down, skinny man. Nick Lanciano is going to perform a classic tune that I know you're going to love, and he's got that lined up next. That's okay, so what we can do is move on to the next thing, which you're going to love, I promise. Now, that is going to be me removing this coffee mug from this stool and inviting our good friend Dale, drum maker extraordinaire, up here to talk about what you saw Kim playing earlier and what Dale has been making with us and for us now, these beautiful hand drums.
Very cool.
So welcome, Dale. Everybody welcome Dale.
Thank you.
Dale! Now,
this is not a cigar box guitar.
No, it is not. But it's still a beautiful instrument now, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it is a beautiful frame hand drum that Dale himself makes by hand, all by his lonesome. Now, I gotta ask though, so that we can get some context on you, why did you even start building drums? What got you into drums?
Well, I played drums, of course. I started building drums. I started repairing them first. I worked at a drum shop, and I started selling them, and realized I wasn't so good of a salesman, but I really liked helping people and helping them make choices, make good choices, and I just liked the way they were made, the way they just you know, this is a drum set actually what I'm talking about, but I liked everything about that part. I learned to become a finisher. I worked with some people in California, another drum builder. Mm-hmm. So which is another drum that I build a steam bent shell. But this drum interests me because this is a drum that's more user friendly for people that don't have skills in drum set and drums and sticks. This can be played with a stick. It can be played by hand. It's a simple drum, but it's tuned with ropes. Typically, frame drums. Frame drums is a big drum family. Every culture has a frame drum.
And so again, this is in the classification.
This is and a frame drum is usually the depth is smaller than the diameter. So the diameter is large and the depth is narrow. So it's a frame. Some of them are square. They're octagon. Mm-hmm. And American Indians have them, and American Indians have a drum similar to this, but they take the skin and they wrap it all the way around, and they tie it on the inside.
So is there a bit of history to the hand frame drum that I'm missing here?
Tons of history. They've been around forever.
So give me a little bit.
Well, women played.
Dale knows a ton about drums. He's just glossing over it.
I'm glossing.
So, but I would like a little context, and I think that you wouldn't mind a little history too. We all like that stuff.
Well, typically, women played the drums.
Okay.
Men weren't allowed to play the drums. The drum is really Mother Earth. It's the rhythm. It's the vibration of the earth. So the women were they're the mothers, and they were the ones that are in charge of that rhythm. Eventually, they let us, slog along and
we're gonna let you play.
We'll let you play, but keep it down and don't be showboating. So that's and frame drums were around. Like I said, every culture has a frame drum. They play them. I can't play a frame drum, but there's all kinds of stuff. There's a buran. It's not my instrument, but what's interesting about the frame drum, there's so many different types of frame drums, and the techniques. There's a million different techniques, but this one this one's a simpler one. Some of them are rigs and tars. They have tambourines. Well, they have jingles like a tambourine, and they're played and shaked and tapped, and there's a lot that goes on.
Awesome.
Anyway,
but this one, what you're making now,
this one is it's kind of inspired by an American Indian drum, but I wanted to show the frame so you could see the color, so you could. It's something that's more personal because usually the skin wraps around and you don't see anything, and you have a little beater.
Now often when Kim's playing hand drums, like in her Irish band, she has, now you refer to it as a beater, now I think she sometimes refers to it as a tipper.
A tipper, and that's a buran, and that's a
buran.
Yeah,
now,
and that's
because Dale is also, if I may, forgive me, but
sure.
he plays the djembe, djembe.
I play djembe. I play danoons. I play African stuff. I play drum set, but I also right now I'm playing more African stuff. So I also build danoons and I play djembes.
Which dovetail nicely with frame drums.
Which dovetail nicely with frame drums because this is what inspired me to do this rope technique. This is called
very pretty, by the way.
This is the Mali weave. So I wrap the rope and then there's a twist, and which we'll show eventually how to do this. It's a little. It seems complicated. It's not as complicated as it looks, but they get spun. So each time you do a little twist here, each time you do a twist, you start to tighten it up because this is a goat skin, and goat skins typically will move around with the ambient temperature. If it's moist, they get loose. So you want some control. The old days, the American Indians and some even the buran players, they'll get it in front of the fire and warm them up. But
now the skins on these ones, especially I think it's the one I'm holding, like before Kim plays them, she likes to use a little conditioner to keep the. Now, why would somebody use conditioner if one wanted to?
They get dry. They get dried out. It's just like our hands. They get dried out
because it is a natural skin.
It's a natural skin, and putting something on there does impede the moisture going in and out. So it does slow that down. It does slow the process of, like when the room gets full of people. You get a lot of people playing, like the old calfskin drums. When there's a lot of people in the room, the humidity goes up, the drum would drop. So that's a whole story in itself. But what she puts on there and what other people put on there, I put shea butter on the African drums, but it slows that process down because the moisture it's blocked a little bit, so it doesn't go through so quickly.
Awesome. Now, Farley, did you want to jump in?
Oh, I just think they look really cool.
They do.
And I've thought about playing drums. I've talked to you a couple times,
Yes.
and I think this would be a good starting point for me, just to start to play around with rhythm. And I've watched some videos of the people playing it, and it just looks so much fun.
Yeah, they are fun, and you and I collaborated on doing this. We've tried to make some banjos, which we're going to try again. We'll do some banjos.
Is there one in here right now?
Yeah, right.
Oh, do you mind grabbing that off the wall? So this is from at least a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
This is an early prototype that both Dale and Farley worked on together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it incorporates what? So it's
It
got a frame drum.
Basically a frame drum.
Yep.
Yep, frame drum, goat skin, rope tuning, and so that we had to do some upgrades. A lot of pressure with the strings on there. Great for a drummer, but we wanted them really tight, and so it's still in development. But but they sounded really good. They're really bright.
Sound great. Yep.
They're really bright, and it sounded good. So that's that. We're not dropping that.
Yep.
That'll come back. I'm hoping.
Are any questions coming in for Dale at this time?
No.
Nope.
No, they're all yelling at me.
They're all yelling. All right, that's great. That's great.
Okay.
Now, Dale mentioned something that I think is interesting, which is, or at least touched upon it, and at least that's how I took it, was that it seemed that these can be not only an advanced user's instrument, but they can also be an excellent introductory instrument for somebody who wants to be a part of something larger than themselves, to learn how to, let's say, be closer to the root of the instrument. Like you have some vision, I think, for frame drums, for drumming in general, for percussion in general. Do you like to share some of that with us right now?
Yes. Well, rhythm. We're all playing rhythm, and it's an agreement between all of us.
And I want to stop right there. I love that statement. Yeah. That rhythm is an agreement among the people that are present.
Yes, and it's not the drummer's fault. I'm just going to bring that out there.
Being a kit drummer, he gets blamed for a lot of stuff.
So it's an agreement. Hey, we're all. What's very cool about rhythm is we're all in agreement because this is what the time is, and this is where we're all here right now, and this is where we're at. Yeah. We're not thinking about the past. We're not thinking about the future. We're in present time, and here we are. We're going. So that's what this drum represents to me. And what I would like to do is create a drum for people that can be part of that in a group circle and a healing event, but to play in rhythm with someone, even somebody that doesn't have any skill, the power of watching their face, which I've seen, I've watched their face and see them play, and they go, oh, you know, I can't do it, and all of a sudden they get caught up, and here they are looking around, hey, I'm going.
That's neat.
And then you see them start chugging, okay, wow, I'm part of this. I can participate. I'm not the lead, but I'm with the group. And all of a sudden, everything they were thinking before just evaporates, and now they're in the rhythm and they're in present time.
I want to do that.
So that's what
Perfect explanation.
That's what this drum does. That's what drums do, because it's, in some ways, I feel it's a little easier to play than I don't play a guitar, but it's you can. It doesn't take a lot to at least contribute something. You can bang it, you can tap it. So anyway, that's what I like about it. And when you see people get caught up in the drum, it's all about joy. And so it's an instrument, it's a machine of joy. And so this drum gets people, whoever's playing it feels the joy, but also gives joy to people that are out there feeling that. And then it moves on. And there's not many things we got left that do that. So anyway, and it ties us to Mother Earth. It ties us to the planet, and everything's rhythm. The crickets, the frogs. It's all about rhythm. So anyway,
love it.
There's some love for Dale and his passion about drums.
Yeah, that is awesome, and it is. It's an instrument of joy. It brings us together in an agreement to be present in the moment.
Present in the moment is a powerful thing for us, especially in this present time. You know, and it's in a group agreement of, hey, let's play together, and then the people that are just sitting in the audience going, hey, wow, we're all together in this. You know. Yeah. We're all together, and I think that's wonderful, you know. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway,
that's really awesome, man.
Nice.
Right.
Dale Vigent of Vigent Custom Drums, Vigent. Vigent Custom Drums has joined us today. He is our resident drum maker, and he kicks in every now and again in the shop as well, helping us out with our instruments. But he's making us these frame drums now, available on cbgitty.com. These beautiful handmade frame drums are awesome.
They really are.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dale.
you.
Really nice.
Awesome. I think up next, if you don't mind me saying, is a video performance from our very own Nick Lanciano, a classic tune.
There's been a slight change of plans.
Slight change of plans.
No. They were yelling at me to get up there and do it live.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
Awesome.
Awesome. Get on up.
All right. This is only because you guys kind of suck. So I'm going to go up there and do it.
All right.
Do it, Nick.
Get on up and do that thing. And let's not leave the stage bare while we do it. So this is me showing off this beautiful cigar box guitar, Gothic t-shirt. Dun, dun, dun. I do not have a Superman chest, but that's okay.
Do they have,
you can see it now.
Shovel this period?
Do we not have another Ben video to smooth this over?
Oh, here we are. And we're doing our live performance now. And apparently we've got a little box guitar here. All right, so bum bum ba dum bum bum dun 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 dun. Hello.
The things I do for you guys. Let's just say I've never once played this song all the way through, and the video I did not play it all the way through either. So, and I can't see comments, which is fun for me. Live TV, folks. Can you hear that all right? Check the Facebook comments on the left-hand side. Let me turn this up. See?
All right, Nick.
All right, this is for real. If you guys can hear me.
They can hear you.
Operator, oh, could you help me place this call? See, the number on the matchbook is old and faded. Living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray, a guy she says she knew well and sometimes hated. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Let's forget all of that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow, learned to take it well. Only wish my words would just convince myself that it just wasn't real. That's not the way it feels. Operator, oh, could you help me place this call? I can't read the number that you just gave me. Something in my eyes, you know it happens every time. When I think about the love that I thought would save me. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Let's forget all of that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow, learned to take it well. Only wish my words would just convince myself that it just wasn't real. That's not the way it feels. Oh no, no, no. Operator, well, let's forget about this call. There's no one there I really wanted to talk to. Thank you for your time. You've been so much more than kind. You can keep the dime. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Let's forget all of that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow, learned to take it well. Only wish my words would just convince myself that it just wasn't real. That's not the way it feels.
Yeah.
See, I can't. Yeah, thanks. I don't know. I'm not in front of the camera all that often. I'm just gonna stay here while people come back up and relieve me quickly before I make a fool of myself even more.
Alright, they loved it. People out in the comments loved it.
Thanks, guys. And I'll post the video that I made. I'll post that later. And I played the song a little bit better in the video, so.
That was awesome.
That was great.
That
man.
was awesome.
It was very cool.
Thank you. Hey-oh. And I think next what we have here is our last sighting from Mr. Baker.
Oh boy.
I know, he's coming right up, I believe. But that was an awesome performance, Nick. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Who doesn't like Jim Croce, operator, and a heck of a performance by Nick Lanciano. That was awesome. So here we go with a little last sighting of Ben Gitty Baker.
Mighty good road, oh, the Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. Well, it's cloudy in the west and it looks like rain. I got a ticket on the railroad train. Yeah, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road.
Woo! Awesome stuff. I love seeing Ben on a train.
Very cool.
It is cool. You know how much he loves that stuff.
I do. He's like a kid.
He really
with
is.
the Train. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very
that's
cool.
awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Now last, to follow all this up, I want to get into this little box guitar that we built here using all parts available at CB Gitty Crafter Supply with this limited edition truck box graphic, available only for I think another week, Kim, is that right?
That's true.
Yeah. About that.
Yeah.
And you can get it now. But first, so that you know how it sounds.
But wait, there's more.
I know. See if I can do this. My grandpa is 95. He keeps on dancing, he's still alive. My grandma, she's 92. She loves to dance and sing some too. You know this song. I don't know what I've been told, but if you keep on dancing, you'll never grow old. Well, come on, darling, put a pretty dress on. We're gonna go out tonight and dance, 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 dance all night long. Woo! I'm a hard-working man, I'm a son of a gun. I've been working all week in the noonday sun. The woods in the kitchen and the cows in the barn. I've all cleaned up and my chores are all done. Breathe. Take my hand and come along. Let's go out and have some fun. Well, come on, darling, put a pretty dress on. We're gonna go out tonight and dance, 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 dance all night long. Woo! Come on, darling, don't look that way. You know when you smile, I got to say, your honey pumpkin lover, you're my heart's delight. Don't you want to go out tonight? Well, you're such a pretty lady, you're such a sweet girl. When you dance, it brightens up my world. Well, come on, darling, put a pretty dress on. We're gonna go out tonight and dance, 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 yeah. Dance, 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 dance all night long. Woo!
Yeah.
Now, contrary to that song, Farley would actually try to get me to dance, not that guy sitting the wallflower style in the back. But nonetheless, it was fun. So this happens to be a representation of exactly what you can build with the special limited edition truck graphic box kit from CB Gitty Crafter Supply. Now Nick has lined up for you some images that I'd like to share with you that shows you how easy it is to assemble. What's that? This. So.
They can buy the neck.
Oh yes. And yes, and you can buy the neck too. So that the first image that Nick's going to share with you shows you just the basic components that got used to build this guitar, which is the box kit and the custom graphic lid. You can see there. Now you can only see the headstock and a little bit of the fretboard, but this is a fully fretted 3-string guitar neck that we make here that you can get with the box kit that you see in the picture. Now you'll also see some corners, some tuners and bushings, the classic open gear tuners, that laser maple cut bridge, and the only thing that's really missing from that picture that went into building this, and I swear in just an afternoon, was strings. What's that?
Lots of love.
Lots of love. You can't quantify the love. Got strings and some screws and some scrap wood to put into brace the box. But the next image you'll see here, that is the box. It's okay, the box is actually an easy assembly box. I just put some glue on all the joints that touch one another, assembled the sides, put the box bottom on, turned it over, put some elastic bands that are included with this kit, put some elastic bands around the side to keep everything together, and then what's not pictured is some oversized heavy objects, like in this case like a cookbook or something, to keep the box bottom onto the side so everything's held into place while the glue dries. And then next what you'll see is an image of the fully fretted 3-string neck and a simple way to notch it out so that it will fit underneath the custom graphic truck box lid. And see that little space right there, that little piece of wood that was left inside the notch? That's actually one of those tricks from our man, the king of the cigar box guitar, Shane Spiel. He uses those for a sound post to keep the lid from flexing too much under string tension.
Yeah.
And often what he likes to do is put a little rod piezo right there in that little sound post that it makes direct contact with the lid underneath the bridge to electrify his guitar. We didn't do that for this guitar because we want to show you how easy it is otherwise to make this. Yeah. Nice, right?
Very nice.
Yeah. So the next image that we have lined up is you'll see it's just the eyelets. Those are the eyelets that you can get that serve the tail end of this fully fretted neck. Already is pre-drilled for the eyelets for the string holes. I just put a little dab of glue. You can see a bottle of glue there in that picture too. Put a little dab of glue to keep the eyelets in place. And the next picture you'll see the classic open gear tuners that got put into the headstock. And Simple stuff, you know how that goes, especially if you've built before. If you haven't, easy to use, especially because this neck, the headstock on it, is pre-drilled for those tuners, so that when you get the neck, there's very little that you have to do. In fact, it's all it is putting the stuff in it and notching out that neck to fit it into a box. The next image you'll see is the box itself. I just glued some braces into it. Now, there will be some of you out there who are like, wait a second, I don't see any posts to support the lid. I don't blame you for bringing that up. I actually don't mind leaving them out because the lid sits directly on the box sides, and you'll see later how it's easily fastened to the box. And I wanted to let that lid vibrate as much as possible, leaving it free to vibrate, so I didn't put the post directly up the sides and underneath the lid. Now, in the next image, you'll see the neck is fastened into the box, easy peasy. The box has been assembled, it's been glued, the neck has been notched, the neck has eyelets put into the pre-drilled holes, the neck has the tuners put into the pre-drilled holes, and I just simply put it into the box after I notched out the box sides. You gotta notch out the box sides, but I notched out the box sides, put the neck in, easy peasy, 4 drywall screws, put that thing right down into the braces, and the next image you'll see coming up is I forget, so in the next image what you'll see is the neck brace. There you go. Since there's a brace that I glued, or that's been glued to the top of the box, so to say, the front end of the box, I've put the neck brace underneath the neck and fasten that to the brace inside the box to strengthen the neck under the string tension. And the next image you'll see the box lid on the box, and I use box corners. That's what's holding the box lid down. That's what's holding this lid down. Nothing more than that. I got 4 corners, 4 box corners to adhere to fasten the box lid to the box. And then last you'll see here, coming up in the next image, is a laser cut maple bridge. Nice. that we make here in house. The strings running over it. You'll see in the image, if you care to notice, that the string gauge on the in the picture is a little bit thinner than what's on there now. Those that got that twangy sound in the picture. These have that lower growly or blues blaster type sound. And then on the next image Nick has for you, there it is. That got that sweet, Ben came up with that sweet custom graphic, the truck box graphic on that custom box lid that you can get right now for 20 bucks, $19.99 from Gitty Craft Supply. Now the neck's a little bit more, it's another purchase, and the tuners and the eyelets and whatnot, but you can get, it's for under about 60 bucks, you can get this entire thing. All you gotta do is do a little notching and put the thing together, and you got a fully playable Cigar, box guitar, and it's custom graphic, limited edition. You're not gonna see this for another week or after another week, so if you get it while you can, easy to put together. Sounds great, at least I think it does.
Yeah, it does.
And that's it. There you have it. All right. Well, I think we've had a pretty good show.
We have.
Got special guests all lined up everywhere that you look. Fun stuff happens. Got to see Kim perform her beautiful voice, the hymnal. God, what did we perform?
He's got the whole world.
He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on. Got Dale with his drums. Got Farley up all in this place for corner. We got, what else we have there? We got don't forget this all wood box that we're selling now. I don't remember exactly for how much. I can actually look, but it's a 9 1/4 by 6 3/4 and 1 3/4 inch deep, laser cut with F-holes, laser cut all wood box. It's $14.99 on Gitty Craft Supply right now. Went over the Hobo Fiddle, Legend of the Hobo Fiddle book, which I hope you get, if nothing else, for inspiration and motivation, as a nice piece to have around the home to read and be inspired and get inside of Ben Baker's head just a little bit. Got the Hobo Glyphs, got guitars, got fun, shenanigans, hijinks. It was a good time this week. Yeah. So come on up. Let's play this sucker out.
Let's do this.
Right. Come on, Dale.
Come on, Dale.
Come on, Dale.
Come on, Dale.
Dale.
Hey. Now, so that everybody knows, we do have a couple events coming up. So, if you haven't been on Cigar Box Nation for a while, Uncle Fred has got coming up, I think he does this every month, but coming up soon in Charlotte, North Carolina on the 5th of May. He's got a box guitar club meeting hosted again by Cigar Box Nation's Uncle Fred in Charlotte, North Carolina on the 5th of May at Big Al's Pub and Grubberia. And if you don't go there just for the sake of the fact that it's called Big Al's Pub and Grubberia,
I want to go.
And then,
let's go, road trip.
And then within just a short month after that, we got the Huntsville, Alabama, the longest running, oldest cigar box guitar festival here in the United States on the 1st of June in Huntsville, Alabama, the Cigar Box Guitar Festival at the Low Mill in Huntsville. And the next day, on June 2nd, is the Cigar Box Guitar Fest Northwest at Eugene Saturday Market in Eugene, Oregon, by our friend Mark Alanas. Has a lot to do with that one. Downtown Vinny, maybe you know him as that. But those are the festivals coming up soon, because you know we're getting into festival season. But I want to thank you for everybody here. I want to thank you for joining us for the Gitty Gang show and my over-caffeinated performance.
Gitty Gang show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Here's the Gitty Gang show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. It's the Gitty Gang show.
Gitty Gang show.
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 It's the Gitty Gang show on Cigar Box Nation TV.
For Nick, Farley, Dale, and Kim, and Ben, thank you very much, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everyone.